You're sitting on a plane at 35,000 feet. The pilot's voice crackles over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, our ground speed is 480 knots. You nod. Everyone nods. Nobody actually knows what that means. Knots. Not miles per hour, not kilometers. Knots, like the thing you tie on your shoes. And here's what makes this wild. Every plane in the sky, every cargo ship in the ocean, every submarine crawling through the deep, they all use the exact same unit. A unit invented centuries before the airplane existed, before electricity existed, before basically anything modern existed. And it wasn't invented by engineers or scientists. It was invented by desperate sailors who were terrified of dying at sea. But why would a 21st century Boeing 777 pilot care about what a 16th century sailor did with a rope? That answer goes deeper than you think, and it starts with one of the most terrifying problems in human history.
Picture this. You're a sailor in the 1500s. You're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. There's no GPS, no landmarks, no radio, just water in every direction as far as you can see. To figure out where you are, you need two things: your direction, which your compass gives you, and your speed. And here's the brutal reality. There is no speedometer. There is no road to measure against. The water around you moves with you. So how fast are you actually going? Sailors' first attempt was almost embarrassing. They threw a piece of wood off the front of the ship, then walked alongside it toward the back and guessed their speed by how fast they passed it. A floating stick. That was navigation. That was how empires moved their fleets. And when that guess was wrong, which it often was, ships didn't get lost by a little. They missed entire islands. Crews ran out of food and fresh water hundreds of miles from where they thought they were. People died because of a bad guess. And one guy had an idea so simple it's almost stupid. And it accidentally created the speed language that the entire modern world still uses today.
Here's what they came up with. Take a flat wooden board. They called it a log. Tie it to a long rope. Now here's the key part. Tie knots into that rope at perfectly equal distances, like evenly spaced beads on a necklace. Throw the log off the back of the ship. The board grips the water and stays roughly where it landed, while the ship pulls the rope out behind it. Now flip a tiny hourglass, 28 seconds of sand, and count how many knots slide through your fingers before the sand runs out. Moving fast, lots of knots pass through your hand. Moving slow, just a few. That's it. That's the whole invention. The count of knots in your hand literally equaled your speed. And the unit was named after exactly that, the knots. The first recorded description of this system appears in 1574 in a book called A Regiment for the Sea by an English mathematician named William Bourne. And here's a bonus that hides in plain sight. That wooden board was called the log. Sailors recorded every speed reading in a book, which became the logbook. Every captain's logbook, every time you log into your computer, every data log in history, all of it traces back to a piece of wood on a rope. But here's the question nobody's asking. It's 2026. We have GPS satellites orbiting the Earth. So why are pilots still counting rope knots? The answer isn't tradition. It's geometry, and it's going to rewrite how you see the planet. Here's where it gets genuinely mind-bending. A mile, the one on your car speedometer, is basically a historical accident. It started as 1,000 paces of a Roman soldier. Then England changed it, then it changed again. There's nothing scientific about it, nothing about the shape of the Earth in it. It's just a distance somebody picked and everybody agreed to use. A nautical mile is completely different. Picture the Earth as a giant orange, sliced into 360 segments. Those are degrees of longitude and latitude. Now take one of those degree slices and cut it into 60 even smaller pieces. Each tiny piece is called a minute. Nothing to do with time, just a name for a tiny arc. 1 nautical mile is the length of exactly one of those tiny arcs measured along the Earth's surface. That means the nautical mile isn't a random unit someone invented. It's literally a piece of the planet. 1/21,600th of the Earth's circumference. And that changes everything about how navigation works. Because when your unit of speed is built from the shape of the Earth itself, something almost magical happens when you look at a navigation chart. And pilots figured this out before computers ever existed. Every nautical chart, whether it's on a ship or in a cockpit, is drawn using those same degree and minute lines, the same grid as latitude. So a navigator can take a simple ruler, measure a distance on the chart, hold it against the latitude scale on the edge of the map, and read the distance in nautical miles directly. No conversion, no math. The map and the unit literally speak the same language. Now, add speed. If your plane is doing 480 knots, you know instantly, no calculator, no conversion, exactly how far you'll travel across that chart in an hour. Speed, distance, and position all click together like puzzle pieces. Try to do that with miles per hour, and suddenly you're converting numbers in the middle of the ocean at night, which is exactly where you do not want to be doing math. When airplanes came along in the early 1900s, pilots faced the identical problem as sailors, crossing massive empty spaces with no road signs, navigating purely by charts and coordinates. The sky is just an ocean without water. So aviation quietly borrowed the whole sailor's toolkit. The charts, the latitude grid, the nautical mile, the knot. Then in 1929, at a conference in Monaco, the world made it official. 1 international nautical mile, exactly 1,852 meters. Locked in. Forever. And get this, the United States, the same country that refuses to use the metric system, officially adopted the nautical mile in 1954. So what made even America give in? And how deep does this system actually go?
Today, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the United Nations body that writes the rules of the sky, keeps knots as the global standard. That means a pilot from Japan, an air traffic controller in Brazil, and a captain sailing out of Germany all talk speed in the exact same unit. 1 planet, 1 grid, 1 language. But it goes way deeper than cockpits. Wind speeds in aviation weather reports? Knots. Ocean currents on a captain's chart? Knots. Hurricane forecasts sent to pilots? Written in knots. So a crew can subtract a headwind from their airspeed with simple mental math while they're actively flying the plane. And here's the part that genuinely messes with people when they first hear it. Your GPS, the satellite navigation system launched by the US military using cutting-edge orbital mechanics, calculates your position using latitude and longitude, the exact same grid the nautical mile comes from. The satellites basically agree with the sailors. A rope trick from 1574 survived 400 years, outlived empires, and then GPS showed up and said, yeah, those guys were right. So miles per hour isn't the modern unit, it's actually the old one, based on the stride of a Roman soldier, built for roads, and completely useless the second you leave them. The knot is the unit of the future. But there's one last twist to this story that almost nobody knows.
So here's how it all ties together. 500 years ago, sailors, desperate to avoid dying at sea, tied knots in a rope, counted them through a 28-second hourglass, and accidentally invented a measurement system so mathematically perfect that it's still used at 35,000 feet today. The knot isn't stuck in the past. Miles per hour is stuck in the past, built on Roman soldier strides, useful only because roads have signs. The knot is built from the geometry of the Earth itself, matches every navigation chart on the planet, works identically at sea, in the air, and in space planning rooms, and the GPS satellites confirm it every single time they ping your phone. So the next time you hear your pilot say, "Our ground speed is 480 knots," you'll know you're listening to the oldest accurate measurement system still operating on Earth, and that it's not going anywhere.
A rope trick from 1574 is more future-proof than the speedometer in your car. Now, here's your question, and I genuinely want you to answer this in the comments. That same pilot uses feet for altitude, not meters. Even in Germany, Japan, France, countries that use meters for everything on the ground, the moment you enter the sky, it's feet. The whole world agreed on that one too. Drop your guess below. Why do you think the world picked feet for altitude? The best answer gets pinned. And if this video just changed how you'll hear that pilot announcement, subscribe and hit the playlist on screen right now.